Hello everyone and welcome to the next Team SG where today we'll be covering the World Test Championship final between India and New Zealand for day 3 of the World Test Championship. And joining us here today we have two of the greatest minds of cricket from Singapore. We have Vikas and Arjun.
Absolutely.
So guys,
Yes, that's
of
true.
course, yes, the greatest minds. So what do you guys feel of the day 3? India, of course, starting the day with 146 for 3. And in session 1, well, India basically crumbled, didn't it? We basically had a collapse, if you get the pun. Yeah, so Vikas, what do you think?
I think, I think once, as I said yesterday, we needed Kohli and Rahane to actually stitch together a partnership. But I think, it lasted for 6 runs? Was it? They ended the day.
It lasted for 10
right?
minutes. Yeah, it lasted for 10 minutes.
And I mean, credit to Jamieson. Actually, that was a brilliant ball. Like to get it swing. The ball was 70 overs old, and Jamieson managed to get it to jack back. And I mean, it's a very good ball. So credit to Jamieson especially, and kudos to him for getting 5 wickets on his. He's only been there for. He's only been playing international cricket for 1 year.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah,
this is, if I'm not wrong, statistically, this is his 5th 5-hauler in just 8 games, or something like that.
I mean, I think he's adapted to international cricket like a duck to water, and so fair play to
Absolutely.
him. I think he's been really performing. He's even outperforming the other more experienced quicks in the New Zealand attack. So yeah,
you guys know who called it in the pre-match preview, right? Who's going to be the leading wicket taker?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it's still early days though.
Of course.
Yeah.
What about you, Arjun? How do you see that collapse from India?
Yeah, a bit disappointing. New Zealand were way more disciplined compared to day 1.
Definitely.
They were hitting that consistent line and length, and they were asking more questions of the batsmen. But I would say, other than the Kohli wicket, most of the other wickets could have been avoided, especially Rahane's. I think
Absolutely.
Some of the shot selection was appalling.
And he just did the same shot, just 1 or 2 balls earlier, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And then Williamson got Tom Latham to come to, whatever position that is. I can't remember now. Because there's just so many cricketing positions to remember. But I felt that was a very poor shot by Rahane. Because Wagner basically told him, not obviously told him, but from a fielding position told him that he's going to do that. And Rahane did exactly what Wagner wanted him to do. So I think you could see the disappointment on Rahane's face as well. He tried to get...
Good, he was looking good for
Exactly, he was looking very good.
A 70 or 80, which is pretty much a 130 or 140 plus score on this pitch.
Absolutely. Because I felt that Rahane-Jaddu partnership could have been a lot better if Rahane had not gotten out.
They were in that passage of play actually when Rahane and Jadeja were batting. I thought they actually scored pretty quickly. I think 20 odd runs, which came in quite a quick succession because they were looking to be quite positive. And both of them were, I would say, they were hardly troubled by all the New Zealand quicks. And I think the conditions was starting to get a little better as well. It wasn't as overcast.
It was getting a bit sunny.
Yeah, so it wasn't as favorable to the New Zealand fast bowlers. And again, I still do not know how overcast conditions help swing bowling, but people say it, and it seems to. Me and Arjun had this question in our heads for quite some time.
We should really ask one of the best cricketing experts, how does overcast conditions help swing bowling? Because I literally had the same thought yesterday while we were watching the Test cricket.
Yeah, as in I've actually seen some contrasting articles. One article says it's because of the Magnus effect. Another article says that it's actually just a facade. Okay. It doesn't actually work. So I'm not too sure who to believe.
Yeah, but the eye test shows that it does help. There was a difference. I could tell.
If you actually compare the New Zealand fast bowlers with our fast bowlers, I mean, it could be down to pure skill, but I find it hard to believe that we are so much behind the A ball. They were swinging it I think 3 degrees. I mean, all the bowlers.
Degrees, yeah.
Almost 3 degrees.
There's a graphic shown. Yeah.
Whereas for us, only Ishan Sharma was getting that kind of a swing. Whereas the other bowlers had a swing for less than 1 degree, which was quite disappointing. And when you have arguably our best ever fast bowling lineup,
I mean, definitely, like the bowling is quite has been quite poor from us, but we'll get back to that in a very short while. But then just going a bit lower down the order, in India basically lost. I believe we were 146 for 3 at the start of the day, and we were all up for 217, and we lost basically in 70 runs, 7 wickets. So would you guys say that's down to very good bowling from New Zealand, or maybe it's a little bit of poor batting from us as well?
It's a combination of both, I would say.
Yeah.
I think the shot selection from some of our middle order was really, really poor. First, okay, Rahane being the obvious candidate, but Rahane, I think it's a bit... I think he tried to keep the shot down, but he just chipped it nicely. He was giving catching practice to the guy at square leg, and I don't know why Wagner is so. I still haven't figured out why Wagner is so threatening with the short ball. He doesn't even bowl at 140 clicks or express pace, but he's just very, very accurate.
I think it's the angle of the short ball that makes it.
And it's a left armer as well, so the angle just gives the right-handed batsman to an awkward position.
Yeah, and I thought someone like Rishabh Pant really played a poor shot. Like, I do not know how
he was super poor. Pant was very poor.
There was no foot movement. It was a nothing shot really. You're just giving catching practice to the slips.
Yeah,
and sorry, Arjun. Yeah, carry on.
Like the shot that Pant has played, right? He's played it quite a lot of times, even in the Australian tour. The thing is, in Australia, you don't get as much swing, so you can risk playing away from your body and still make good contact with the ball. But
Absolutely,
in England, you have to get close to the ball with your feet. You have to make use of your footwork, and hopefully he learns from that. I still back him to improve in the second innings for us, because he seems to perform better when we are in crisis or when we are playing in our second innings. So hopefully,
hopefully.
Yeah, of course. Like for me, the way I see it as it was definitely a very poor shot from Pant. Like it was very reminiscent. If you guys watched the England-New Zealand series of Zach Crawley's shot as well, same thing. They were giving him. I think what they were trying to do, like Pant is he likes to, of course, go after the balls, and that's what gives him confidence. So I feel that's what New Zealand tried to set him up for. They kept on bowling on the offside. He tried to go for a drive, missed a few, and then suddenly when he, nicked one, went to the slips. But obviously it's very poor from Pant, because he should have understood the situation, especially when Rahane was there. I think Rahane was even telling him to maybe leave all the balls on the offside. But, Pant being Pant. I think you expected a few moments like this, where some innings where he just doesn't click. But then when he clicks, we all know how destructive he can be. So there's obviously no question about his qualities. It's just about he does need to sometimes read the match situation a bit better.
Yeah.
And we had the same discussion in the match preview as well about Pant. So
to be honest, I think his situation reading has gotten better recently.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah.
He's still playing the aggressive brand of cricket, but it seems much more calculated. That's why I was very surprised why he went into that shot. Especially after he got that first boundary, I thought, okay, he's gonna dig in now. Similar to what he did in Sydney and in, of course, Gabba.
I mean, hey, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I think we have to accept that.
No, I think it just I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. I just feel like English conditions is going to be pretty difficult for him. That's what I feel. Because for a stroke player like him, and he's not like someone. He does have great hand-eye coordination. He does know his areas. He knows where to target the bowlers. But I just feel like the English conditions might find him out a bit. But great players tend to overcome these kind of patches. So,
I will say this: he does have 100 in England against England. So it's not like he's incapable of playing that big.
That's true.
And that's true. If anyone who can swing like the momentum like strongly to us when we do go out to bat the second time, I would say it's Panta.
Of course. I mean, we shall see. We still have 4 tests, I believe, against England to come. 4 or 5 tests, I can't remember. But we definitely had that series to come. But then, of course, let's move forward now from the Indian side, from India's batting to New Zealand's batting now. So after India being all out for 217, New Zealand, of course, came in and had a very good opening partnership. They were going strong, both Devon Conway and Tom Latham, for almost 30, 35 overs. What do you guys make of that? It was very reminiscent of the innings Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill got. But obviously, they got out for 62 and quite early on as well. I believe they lasted 22 overs. And Tom Latham and Devon Conway kind of set the stage going forward, didn't they?
Yeah, I would say so. I think among our bowlers, Shami looked the most threatening. Ashwin was not getting much purchase off the wicket, and up until the wicket, of course. But I would still say the wicket was more to do because of Latham throwing away his wicket rather than Ashwin. Maybe Ashwin was getting a bit of drift in that particular delivery, but I would still say that that the way both these openers were batting, they look very, very comfortable. Honestly, they could have batted us out of the game, the third session, or even the second session for that matter. If I think it was almost their own doing, both the wickets. But we'll come to that soon. I would say our fast bowling could be a bit better, especially Bumrah. I thought was. I think towards the end, yes, he did threaten a bit, but I thought we should have started.
Great overall.
Yeah, we started as how did New Zealand start the previous day? When they opened, when they win. Yeah, I mean, in fact, New Zealand had more favorable conditions in that aspect.
Definitely.
But I still expect a lot more from our bowling, given that.
I think Bumrah was straying in his line quite a bit, which is not something you expect from your premier bowler. Like, he's supposed to be the leader of this pace attack. So I think it's right for us as fans to expect more of them, and especially Bumrah. And he was beating the edge late on, but we need a lot more of that tomorrow. I mean, today.
Yeah, actually, I was telling Arjun actually yesterday. Ken Williamson. We all know he has a problem with his left elbow, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And if I was a bowler, I would be targeting the left elbow, make him feel insecure. Like
right.
Try him out with some short stuff, and it's not like we don't have the bowling ability to actually intimidate batsmen. We have I think all three bowlers are perfectly capable of hitting 140, 145 clicks.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know if we've used the short ball enough. Personally, that's what I feel. Yeah. Like line and length, fine. I think Shami was. I think
good length.
Yes. Shami was, I thought, very, very good actually. I thought he was very unlucky not to get a wicket at the end of the day.
Shami's ability to draw batsmen into false shots, I think he was highlighted quite a bit in the analysis yesterday on TV coverage. And he's been unlucky. I think he deserved a wicket. I think if he keeps bowling in these areas, we should see a pretty good performance from him today.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me as well, I felt Shami was our best bowler today. He was very unlucky to, of course, not get a wicket. But then at the same time, I feel neither Ishan nor Bumrah actually bowled particularly well. Maybe Bumrah did offer a bit towards the end because maybe the conditions were, starting to favor us because he was getting quite dark as well.
Yeah.
But and for Ashwin, you can't really blame him because.
In fact, I would say that he's phenomenal in the sense that he actually, to be honest, he kept it tight.
Yeah,
he was keeping it tight up until the point where the wicket came in, and it was brilliant. Like, there was no purchase in the wicket, but he just stuck at it, wearing the batsman down, and eventually reaped his rewards. So
and when
one thing I was very surprised with was that Kohli did not bowl Jadeja until like the 40th over. That is something which took me by surprise. What do you guys think?
If I'm not wrong, the commentator was saying that Conway has a weakness towards left arm spin. Yeah. Like since 2016, he averaged something like 29 or something, which is a lot lower than his average facing other kinds of bowlers. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure India employ analysts, and they are perfectly aware of the fact that Conway has such a weakness against this type of bowler. And so I think they would have felt a bit, I guess, I'm not sure how they feel right now because Conway got out at the end of day 2, day 3. But I still feel like they might have missed a trick, by not bringing in Jadeja slightly earlier.
Definitely.
I think, with Jadeja, it's always a question of whether he will get assistance from the pitch, because he's a completely different bowler when there is spin and grip. He's way more dangerous when there's assistance. and he's, I would say, a bit limited in terms of wicket taking threat if there isn't much assistance on the pitch. He doesn't quite have the skill set or versatility of Ashwin, who knows how to subtly change his pace. And I think the wicket ball for Latham was 5 kilometers slower, which isn't much, but it is quite a lot for a spinner. And
it is.
The fact that he could disguise it quite well and get Latham to play a false stroke, I think that just shows his quality. And I don't know if Jadeja has that kind of quality. He's more of someone who will just fire it in consistently at the same area and build pressure. Yeah, so I don't think we can blame Kohli too much for not bringing him on earlier.
I'm just surprised. I wouldn't blame him. I mean, I'm sure Kohli knows things better than I do from just sitting on the desk and having my drink and just, doing some criticism. But, I mean, it was just disappointing because I felt maybe when all the 4 bowlers weren't working, I felt maybe he should have tried something different a lot sooner. And he went to Jadeja at the 40th overs plus, which was just a bit odd. So, and he's only bowled, I think for Jadeja, he needs a few overs under his belt before he can really get going. And he just didn't get that today. So
I think with the English conditions, maybe they just wanted to back the pacers to do the job, honestly.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the Pacers need to do a lot better job tomorrow because it's, like we said, I think New Zealand had a similar day to us in terms of bowling in that sense on the first day where they weren't quite hitting it off. And then second day, they came back and got, 7 wickets and 70 runs. So I totally back our bowlers to do that job. I think New Zealand are trailing by 114 runs at the end of day. And we have 8 wickets in hand. Do you guys feel that we can go on and maybe get the 8 wickets in the amount of runs remaining?
I think getting Williamson out early is a huge ask, but it's what we need to do to maybe replicate what they did to us. I think getting Williamson out early, I mean, first of all, it gives us a mental edge because they are already on the back foot early in the session, and their middle order, they are dependable, but it's going to...
They do have a collapse in them. I've noticed the New Zealand middle order do have a collapse in them. So.
But I would say this one thing. I think they bet way deeper than us. That's one I have
definitely.
to say. I think it's going to be a tough ask. Personally, I do not see us restricting them under 217. I do believe that India should realistically target to keep them under 250. Yeah. So that they still have... The lead is still at an arm's length, where they can, because it's going to get harder to bet as the days go along, because you do realize that even today from what Arjun was telling me, it's 99% chance of precipitation, so it doesn't look too promising for cricket in general. So obviously with the weather conditions and the pitch deteriorating, you do realize that it is going to get more difficult to bet on. And personally I thought, but one thing I have to say is yesterday the wicket of Conway shifted the momentum slightly to us, I would say.
Definitely.
Because if Conway was batting today, I think New Zealand would have taken the day's play 80-20. But this particular wicket, I would say, has shifted the momentum slightly to us. But I still feel New Zealand are on top. Yeah, I would
definitely.
say I would give I think 60-40 to New Zealand, I would say, because it was perfect. The timing to get that wicket was right before the bad light conditions. And it even, to be honest, it wasn't because of Ishant Sharma's fantastic bowling. I mean, he did hit his lengths and lines, but I still believe that Conway threw his wicket away to a certain extent because that wasn't the expected mode of dismissal, if you would like to call it, because
there wasn't a need for him to play an aerial shot. He could have played it along the ground easily.
I mean, he's gotten out to that flick shot even in the England series, so it's something which Conway needs a bit of working on. But I mean, it was a very interesting day. I felt overall, I would still give New Zealand the entire 3 sessions winning it, and probably at the end of the day, probably 75 to New Zealand, 25 to India for me, because I mean, you see, when you're batting second, when you're let's say chasing or trailing, the job is a lot easier because you know what you have in hand and you know what you need to do, so you can bat a lot better in that sense. But obviously, with the pitch deteriorating, that could change very quickly. And I completely back our bowlers to get the 8 wickets as quickly as possible. And like Arjun mentioned, if we can get the Williamson wicket, like how, they got our Kohli wicket early on in the session, then, the tide could just change towards us soon.
Yeah.
So, Any final thoughts, guys, before we round it off?
Yeah, so I think whenever the next session of cricket is played, whether it's today or tomorrow, it looks like it's going to be tomorrow, unfortunately. But we need that session to be a 3 or 4 wicket session. I think realistically, if we really want to bring ourselves back into the contest. Yeah.
Yep. I agree with
Definitely.
Arjun. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, well, everyone, be sure to check out the World Test Championship final review for day 3, which will be coming out very soon after this. And be sure to subscribe to us and follow us on Spotify as well and Instagram at the Next Team SG. And yeah, the link is in our Instagram bio, so you can just directly click on it and it'll direct you to the links. So yes, thank you very much, guys, for joining me today to discuss this review, Vikas and Arjun. And with that, running off from the Next Team SG. See you again. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.